Namaste, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Mike Hawley Yoga from the peaceful, tranquil yoga room. I wanted to take a moment today to talk about what props might be appropriate for a home practice. So let's talk about what a home practice is first. A home practice might involve a little bit of meditation. A home practice might involve a little bit of posture practice, asana practice, maybe some sun salutations. A home practice might involve a few breathing techniques. What do you need for all that? Truth be told, you don't need anything. You could find a quiet spot in your house. I practice on this carpet. It's more than enough. And that's fine. But if you want to invest some money in some yoga stuff or yoga props, I'm going to run you through a couple little helpful hints. So the most basic thing that most people invest in, and I have a bunch of them, are yoga mats. So how much do you need to spend on a yoga mat? Well, my wife, who's been practicing a while now, has spent $11 on this yoga mat, and she absolutely loves it. So you don't need to go spend $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $100. This is an Aeromat Elite. She purchased it, I think, at TJ Maxx or somewhere like that. It's soft enough where the knees don't feel the impact on the ground, and it holds enough that you're not slipping on it. Now you can spend $5 on a mat. I bought a whole bunch of $5 mats for this yoga studio I was running at one point, and they were fine, but it was a little thin, so people felt it on the knees, and it didn't have the best grip, so you slid around with it. $11, TJ Maxx, Aeromat Elite, fantastic. I myself have invested a little heavier in a mat. I invested in a jade mat. Now, I love jade yoga mats. The reason being is that this is a thicker one. They make these in different thicknesses. This thicker one, you don't feel any pressure on the knees. It doesn't slide around at all. And the other thing is, this mat is at least 12 years old. It has been all over New York City and the tri-state region, and it is still holding fairly strong. I can't imagine how many hours of yoga this has seen, but it's a lot. The other thing I want to say about jade, why I like this so much, is I remember I worked at this one yoga studio, and they told this customer, you have to keep this take it out of your car, make sure you wipe it off with this certain thing to clean it, and it will last forever. I haven't done any of those things. This thing stays in the car sometimes for months on end. I clean it, but I just wash it with the garden hose outside, and it has lasted a decade or a little over a decade. Jade yoga mat. So, but there's no reason to invest. This thing is at least $70 plus for this. So, if you're just starting off and you're not sure whether this is going to be appropriate, I would buy the mat that's a little less, the Aeromat Elite. If you're someone, or a cheaper one, if you're someone that's been practicing a while and you're watching this and you're curious what I use, it's a jade yoga mat. So, yoga mat, let's say you purchased that, right? You bought your yoga mat. Your home practice is starting to increase, you're really digging it. The next thing that I would highly recommend would be a yoga block. So the yoga blocks start making balance poses and other poses a little more accessible. They make two styles for the most part. They make this soft one here, and they make a harder cork block. I bought a bundle of these from, a distributor, and I can't remember, I think I probably paid $5 a block, $10 a pair, maybe less, but it was fairly cheap, and it's fine, right? I'm able to move into poses like half moon or Ardha Chandrasana with this block, and it just makes it easier and more accessible. The cork block was a little more expensive, but it's a well worth investment too because it's a little heavier and a little more solid. So what can happen with these blocks is if you're in a balance pose, it can just shift around on you. The port block is going to be more stable to the ground. And there's all sorts of other things you can do with these. You can use these for restorative poses. You can use these for sitting on when you're meditating. So it has a lot of different applications to it. I would highly recommend this. So you buy your yoga mat, you buy your yoga block, and you're fairly set there for a home practice. And this is nice too, because you can bring this to the studios with you whenever you go. Now, moving up from there, these are kind of my essentials. This belt or strap falls into the essential market too. Because again, it helps get you into postures you're not quite there for the full posture. So a great example would be something like side angle, Gomukhasana arms, if you know that, and just the tougher binds, or we'll stick with that, the tougher binds, it makes them accessible. So eventually, you'll use the strap at first, and then the strap will shorten, and finally you grab your arms when your muscles have lengthened appropriately, where you're not forcing anything. The one thing I recommend when buying a yoga strap is the D-ring. I like the D-ring because they make these other ones that self-clamp, and for the life of me, I've seen them break a million times. They never hold properly. The D-ring is kind of like a motorcycle helmet strap, and it locks into itself. It's not going anywhere, and it lasts forever. I think this is a 7 or 8 foot strap. They're probably $5 to $20 price range, depending on the quality. It's a worthwhile investment. So these 3 things, a block, a strap, and a mat, and you're pretty much set to practice. You can practice at home with this. You can carry this around to studios. If you want to watch one of my YouTube videos or check out one of my Zoom practices, it's perfect. You'll be set. Moving up from there, I still like this Southwestern style blanket. Again, I bought a whole bunch of these. I forget the price as far as the big distributor price, but it was probably in the $10 range, maybe a little less. They're wonderful. If you're someone that has some back issues when you're laying in Shavasana, you can use this to comfort you. If you're someone that's practicing Yoga Nidra, you can cover yourself with this. There's a lot of restorative things you can do with these blankets. It's a worthwhile investment. So this little package here, you could probably spend about $50 on the whole thing. $10 for this, $10, you're at $30, and $10 for the strap or more. Again, you can invest a little more, but this would be the essential package: a mat, a block, a strap, a blanket. There's one final piece to this. It's probably the priciest of all the things here, but it depends what you like as far as yoga. It's a bolster. Now, a bolster can run you over $100. So before you buy one, I would make sure you really dig the home practice. It's not something you're going to do for a couple weeks and then drop it, stick all this in the closet, forget about it. If you're someone that's going to invest your time and you really enjoy a home practice and you're getting a lot out of it, the bolster, it's a little expensive, but it's not a bad investment. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this in a restorative aspect. You can use it for twist on your back. You can use it to sit on. There's ways to prop this up so you feel a little more comfortable in postures and you can stay a little longer. You can use this for meditation. So it has a lot of aspects to it, but it's just really expensive. The thing is, a lot of the things you can do with this as far as restorative goes, you can do with 2 nice blocks. So take your time picking one. I personally like this type. I like the flatter, kind of round pill-shaped one. It's probably like 3 feet or so. And if you invest in one, it's best to spend a couple dollars because it just lasts longer. If you spend, a cheap amount, they're kind of flimsy and they break down quickly. I'm sure you've seen those in some yoga studios where you can almost bend them in half. I don't like that. I like the firmer ones. Better to invest a couple dollars. So there you have it. Now you're pretty much ready to start practicing yoga at home. What do you need? Not much. Just a quiet space to practice. A yoga mat is highly recommended. and there's a few different price ranges. Yoga blocks are the same thing, the yoga strap, the blanket, the essential package, and the little bonus thing of having a bolster is wonderful. I hope to see you in one of my practices soon, whether that's in person or on Zoom. Watch one of my YouTube videos, keep practicing, find that beautiful tranquil space for yourself. Once again, namaste, and have a wonderful, blessed rest of your day.